Fangs and Infernos. We are super stoked, of course, to be right back at you, and we're going to keep the good times rolling with some more great conversations. And the thing that's most important to myself and Devil, of course, is that you guys enjoy the show to support people just like our good friend Lou here that we're about to break into, to have a great conversation with, to allow him to keep doing what he does best for you guys. So, Lou Temple, thank you so much, friend.
Very cool to be here. I'm grateful that you guys are able to come out this weekend. Here we are in Allentown, Pennsylvania, having a big time with the audience that's come about, and it's been great. Actually, it's been really nice.
Awesome.
And we're meeting a lot of people, and people have their collections, and they want to complete their collections oftentimes. So I'm signing a lot of Devil's Rejects, a lot of Walking Dead, obviously, a lot of Halloween, interestingly. So sometimes I forget, or I shouldn't, but I forget that I'm in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning.
Yeah.
The origin story. And that's being brought out again. They're re-releasing that on a 4K. Company out of London is doing that. So I'm happy to be part of all of those franchises. So looking forward to being part of maybe a new franchise that isn't so new, but maybe something like Terrifier I should do.
Yeah. I think that would definitely be awesome.
That's kind of up in your neck of the woods here.
Yeah, because you were here with your Halloween, of course, peers with yourself,
right?
And Hannah and Tyler, the man that killed you both.
Yes.
And
man, he's such a nice guy too.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes with those guys.
I think so.
It's always the quiet ones.
There's a rage that's burning in there. What's great about Tyler too is he's a really capable and skilled actor. So he's not, just a big guy. He's somebody that has artistry, and he brings that to his Michael Myers, which I think is wonderful.
No, absolutely. And of course you were gracious to add to my collection, of course, with the Devil's Rejects.
Right.
And you took care of course, Mrs. Devil with Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, we're just trying to make everybody happy. That's the main thing. These things, I really like to have the audience kind of attend and have an experience. So we talk a lot. I try to connect with where they're from and who they are and what they were doing when I got killed, for instance. When I was shot in the head, where were you sitting? What happened? Did you throw the remote? Oh no, not Axel. Or, Adam Banjo in the midst of the fight, were you rooting for us? That we were going to beat Otis, or, with Michael Myers, why did you keep playing with his masks? Didn't you read the signs, read the room? And so those things are interesting to me, how people react. Oh, I knew you were going to die because your character started getting developed, and it was clear that I know how this goes down. I fall for it every time.
Yeah.
And so there was that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like you said, the Walking Dead and the Halloween, you can kind of go, oh, they suck. You knew the Devil's Rejects, and everybody was like, yeah, you were not voting for not living in those. When it comes to Otis and Baby, all the fans want to see them kill as many people as they can.
That's part of the geography, isn't it? And so, and we had Otis. It was 2 against 1. We had him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He slipped right out of our fingers. He's like an elusive running back. He just found his
exactly.
hole and did it. Dang it.
But Lou, I would love to also hear about your experiences working with Jeff. Of course, in the Devil's Rejects. As your band member as well. But it's just I've always heard just such amazing, just good things about Jeff.
What's great, Jeffrey Lewis. You know him from so many movies if you're a fan of cinema, and so particularly his work with Clint Eastwood. So when you meet him, he gives you this little business card that says Clint Eastwood's best friend.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
And all the Every Which Way But Loose movies, and but he also has scared the pants off you in Salem's Lot in that rocking chair. My God, that's still my generation. That still just makes us fear. Working with him on The Devil's Rejects was so great because he he's such a valuable. Yeah, there we are, Banjo and Sullivan, Roy Sullivan, Jeffrey Lewis. You may not know this, and most of you do, of course, but he is Juliette Lewis's father, and he has all these tricks. Like he always said, when you're talking to the lead of the movie, always put your hand on his shoulder. That way you can't get cut out of the film, And so it was little things like when you enter a room, just take a beat and stand in the doorway so they can measure you and see and try to stand tall so they can see how tall you are. He was great. He would always take the opposite. Like if the moment was really tense, he would play comedy to diffuse the tension. So, and it always worked. So it was really great. It was great. He was a joy to work with.
Absolutely. When you're looking at the roles and the scripts, the offers that you get to do, how does your brain kind of work with certain roles? Do you like to look for your fellow cast members, the people you want to work with? Is there something about the way the script is written and presented that strikes your fancy?
It always starts with the script, how it's written. I look for a voice from the writer, and that writer able to build different voices? Like the three of us all have different voices. We have different syntax, different cadence of speak, and it's very difficult, but it's very possible. As a good writer, you could write that in on a script. And so if I see that, there's different voices for each of these characters, not just the character that I'm reading. I recognize it's well written. So I look for a well-written script. I look at, is this character going to be an integral part of the spoke in the wheel? Is he going to be a vehicle for telling the story? So I look for that. And then I don't really look anymore for like who's going to be in it, because I really have no control of that. It's nice to think that J.K. Simmons is going to be in something because he has exquisite taste, or Christoph Waltz is doing this. Well, then it must be good because he has really great taste. But at the end of the day, I have no control over that. That's out of my hands, and the project should speak to itself to me. So particularly if it's a story you had mentioned, we were talking about Tyler's graphic novel, and it relates to human trafficking and how that is a story that relates to you and him, obviously, and it should relate to all of us. There's a message there that's really clear and important, and I think then I connect right away. And what's difficult is that the casting today, a lot of it is about television, and you don't always get the scripts to know or read, and so you've got to make heads or tails from the sides that are in front of you. So it might be 3 pages of the character that you're going to audition for. It doesn't necessarily tell a lot of the story, and you can get lost. So I rely heavily on my imagination to connect with what I think the story actually is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're like I say, obviously talking to you about Walking Dead being on that. Before we talk about working with Andrew Lincoln and working with Daryl, with Norman Reedus, talk about because I went down there for Walker Stalker and got to visit Sonoy. Talk about working in that weather of being in Sonoy and Atlanta and doing the scenes and when you were around, with the prison and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're really exposed to the element, and the element is hot, humid, sun. Sun exposure. You're really being tested, and you have to stay hydrated. There's all manner of bugs. Night shoots with those lights. The bugs come out in fleets, and there's snakes. There's, if you're out in locations where there's stickers, poison ivy, all kinds of things and you just get worn out. Your energy just gets sapped, but you must keep going because your teammates are continuing to go. That was the great thing about that show, was that everybody was singularly focused on providing a great product that week. And we take a collective sigh at the end of the week and realize we had to start this again on Monday for this next episode, and we try it all again. And it was challenging, but I think the confidence and and the care that we had for each other gave us this spirit to do better. We always wanted to do better.
Yeah.
And it was led by Andrew Lincoln,
Yeah.
who was our Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. And he was always trying to do better. And he always wanted us to try to do better. Say that line better. Have it with a better intention. Try it different. Maybe better. It's maybe different is better. He tried different ways of his work continually. He was always looking to get it right. And he set a great example. And he was very collaborative, very inviting. Come be or help us make this show. Help us make this show great. And he did that. So he was wonderful. Norman Reedus was somebody that taught me very wisely that you could help build your character. The writers are watching, and in the moment, you inform the writers about, picking up a crossbow or hopping on a motorcycle. A lot of that stuff really isn't in the script. A lot of that stuff is in the moment that Norman Reedus, as Daryl Dixon, does, and the writer's like, well, he picked that crossbow up. He must be this redneck that shoots squirrels. Let's have him do that. And you can grow what I call Johnny Appleseed, your character, on television. A film, it's pretty locked into those 100 pages. But the television, episodically, you can build from episode to episode.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing I love about The Walking Dead. Like, not only like the show wise, but and this isn't a dig on anybody else who's like fandom and stuff like that. But the Walking Dead fans and/or the people who've worked on The Walking Dead are just the nicest people in the entire world. I remember Jeffrey Dean Morgan saying he thought he already saw the big fandom with Supernatural, and then all of a sudden he did when he came into Walking Dead. He's like, dude, they're like, oh, you've never seen nothing until you see the Walking Dead fandom. And he's like, oh, I've been in Supernatural. Then when he realized, he's like, oh shit, this Walking Dead fandom is insane.
When I got started season 3, we were still a little bit under the radar, but it blew up in season 3. It really did. And it overwhelmed me. I had no idea, to your point, how popular it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And when we got to speak with you yesterday and got to hang a little bit, one of the people we were talking about when it came from the Devil's Rejects is somebody that, Banjo got to then reconnect with up in heaven, which was Brian Posehn and Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's great, and obviously Brian's great. And he's got that voice, Adam said I wasn't good enough, cut out for bull riding, and I just think he's hilarious because he's just got this dry, dismissive delivery, and it's just funny and right for everything. He's really great, and I'm sure he does voice work. He does stand up. I think he gets to act a fair share, so he's just great for put him in everything.
Yeah. That's something I didn't even notice about you too. That I was looking at. That you've done a lot of voice work too.
I like voice work, yeah, and I find that my voice is kind of one of my tools.
Yeah.
And so I like to use it, and I use it both on camera and, as you say, like I'm voicing a role right now for a company called Crunchyroll, which is they make anime for you anime fans, and they make things like Dragon Ball Z. But they have this new title called Night of the Living Cat, which is basically Night of the Living Cat. It's a lot like Night of the Living Dead, and the idea is the cats are infected with a disease, so if you pet a cat, you become a cat. So you're basically being chased by fuzzy, soft, adorable kitties that just want to be petted, and our characters all have a certain passion for cats, so we're resisting our temptation to pet them so that we don't. My character actually does turn into a cat. Spoiler alert. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I like, and the anime fan base is also very supportive and rabid. So that's pretty great. I did a voice on Rango, which is an animated feature.
I love Rango.
And so we won an Oscar with that. That was amazing. And I did Mr. Fergus down at the general store. Wasn't me, B. It's Mr. Merrimack. He's holding all the water. I can't give you no more credit. Yeah, that was kind of my territory, which I modeled after Pat Buttram, who did Sheriff of Nottingham. Oodle lolly, what is that, right? You know. So I do enjoy voice work. Yeah.
Do you find that voice work has the potential to also work well with like your schedule as well, to where you might have the opportunity as something to do it at home or in a studio situation as opposed to being, traveling out to a filming location?
I think that's probable for the guys that do it as their wheelhouse. I think they've got. I like being directed, so I try to go to wherever they are to direct me. I like going to a studio. So, but yeah, there's guys that have home studios that are incredible, and they just roll out of bed and go downstairs and push a button and make magic. I'm probably not that committed to the voice work just yet. If I did get a great voice gig or even a good one, I'd probably build a sound studio to do that. Yeah.
Nice. Right on, man.
Oh yeah, and then, like I said, working with Rob Zombie as much as you've done like that, were you a fan of his before you got to work with him? As far as movie wise, maybe more the music side.
Yeah, because we got in. I knew White Zombie. I wouldn't say that I was a Rob Zombie, White Zombie / fan. Probably leaned into sort of country and 70s rock and roll. But I have become a fan. I've become a fan of his storytelling. I think he's great. I think he's continuing to just get better,
Yeah, exactly.
So I think what I like about Rob is he's real true to who he is. He's a kid that grew up in the 70s, throwing rocks and putting baseball cards on the spokes of his bicycle. And he's very authentic to that. He also is someone who's built himself. He's really self-made, and he's accomplished so much, and continues to accomplish. So I think guys like him and Gene Simmons and Howard Stern, great business guys, but also real great creatives. They deserve a lot of credit and applaud for all the good work they do. So I always look forward to whatever he's doing, and he's out touring a lot. He's got a great concert. Everyone is if you've seen him, it's a really energized, upbeat show. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are you a ZZ Top guy? Staying on the music topic. Because Devil, I'm sure you were on top of it.
Yeah.
But with the back-to-back poses.
I love ZZ Top. I love their journey. There's a great documentary out on them. I like that they make as much noise with just three guys. We lost Dusty, and sadly, but we got a super replacement in there.
I love that they kept it in the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think ZZ Top is fun. My favorite band though is Creedence Clearwater.
Oh yeah, CCR.
Yes. Yeah, CCR with Fogerty in the front end of that, driving that train. I think that's really great.
I mean, that probably works well with you too. It's because
most of my
Zombie, he likes to go to that.
Yeah, kind of that really crunchy chicken finger stuff. It's interesting because Rob and I do have a shorthand that we talk about our characters and their soundtrack. Like who does Adam Banjo listen to? And so he was a lot of CCR. The guy in 31 Psycho Head, I was totally off. Freebird! We did that. We actually we covered on the Banjo and Sullivan album. We did 9 original songs and covered Freebird. We did that in Bird and Alice, which is Willie's studio, and we used. At the time, they were the Dixie Chicks. I think they're just the Chicks now.
Yeah.
We used Mandy Barnett as backup vocals. Back to Psycho Head, I was like, who is what is this music? And I was way off, like Elton John, Benny and the Jets type thing. And Rob's like, no, it's Black Betty Ram Jam.
Oh, there you go.
Is by the Ram Jam. And then I even took it one step further. There's a band called Spiderbait. They do a version of that song.
Yep.
And so Black Betty by Spiderbait is the soundtrack of Psycho Head. And Rob would be cool. He does things like he plays it really loud through the speakers when I enter the set, you know, and it gets everybody in that energy, which is huge.
How do you look at that character with like that attire and makeup situation as opposed to like, you know, the somewhat more dressed down, you know, Banjo and Walking Dead and Texas Chainsaw?
You know, Rob had a design, and one of the things for me is like when I see a guy walking around without a shirt on, I feel like that guy's gonna be trouble. You know? Not at the beach, I mean in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just told Rob that. He's like, yeah, that's good. He goes, why wear pants? I go, oh. And so he goes, well, how about some Daisy Dukes then? And I was like, I don't know. And next thing I go in wardrobe, I got women's underwear and Daisy Duke cut-off pants and suspenders. And, you know, I'm painted, and then Rob's drawing on me where, you know, he draws the heart and cock on it, and 100% motherfucker on the back. That, and then putting the skin mask on, you sort of start to become someone else. I think he told me that he had the experience because he wears masks and whatnot on stage when he sings, that you do become kind of a different person, and that's true. And so I was surprised by that experience. So
It was nice to see you wear somebody else's face and somebody wear yours.
that's a good point. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, when I got killed in 31, I had been noticing that people were begging for their lives, and I just didn't want to be that guy. I'm just gonna, you know. So I just ripped off Rob's song Dragula, I Will Never Die.
Yeah.
And I just was shouting that as I'm getting cut in half by the chainsaw. So
No, absolutely. Lou, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh,
I want to
my
be
gosh.
respectful of your time.
Thank you so much.
we just
I've
wanna
enjoyed it.
Spin around, but Devil, let me kick it over to you one final time. As well,
I
my
mean,
friend.
since we're at a con, you know, you're, you know, con frequently. We gotta talk about this wonderful attire. You're probably the, I would say, number one best dressed
Yes,
at the
that's-
con this week.
that's what I was- that's what I was going- that's what I was going for.
You know, the 10-pound hat and the
I
nice
mean,
suit.
every girl's crazy, right?
That's
For
right,
a sharp-dressed man.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got it. Look, I got to work harder. So most of you are probably going, well, yeah, but something's missing, and it's that big old mustache. Where did that go?
Yeah, let's talk about the
I've
handlebars.
recently done a television show, an episode of the Wild West Chronicles, of all things, but playing a kind of turn of the century police officer. And they asked me to shave, so I'm cleaned up for a role, but I will grow it back. It does feel fairly naked without.
I noticed that the first thing. I was like, oh my god, Luke.
I always like trying to, you know, dress to impress, and definitely, you know, put my best foot forward. Let's say that in my attire, you can make a good impression, and so that's kind of my take, my tact. So,
Yeah, and
thank
then-
you for noticing.
Yeah, between that and then for the last one, because, you know, I always like the funny questions and the weird stuff. The devil is the skin. Talk about, you know, filming that scene where, you know, you've got Otis, you got Bill taking you guys out, and how hard was it to do that scene when he's talking about smelling her gun, the feminine powder on the gun still.
Yeah, I mean,
How hard was it to do that scene and record it and to keep a straight face?
I think that the intensity of all the scenes was enough to keep you in the scene. There were moments like when Jeffrey Lewis would go, "Look at you. There's an octopus on TV. There's a monster," you know, in the middle of a, victim situation. That was funny. But for the most part, like the hotel was so intense with Priscilla Barnes,
Yeah.
and being taken out to the, where are you taking us, mister? Kind of sickly understanding this is the end of the road was enough to keep you in. I think as much as anything, there was a lot of frustration. So at some point where they're pumping blood through me and making this, work, and Bill's on top of me and blood's in my eye and it's burning and I'm spitting blood out of my mouth and it's in Bill's hair and he's pissed about that because between each takes they have to clean his hair, literally wash his hair. And I was pissed at Bill. There's a lot of friction and frustration, and I think it helped the scene for sure. So, and I'm really proud of that scene. I think we really brought it.
Yeah.
Brought the heat.
And I think that Willy Wonka line in that scene is really a hidden gem of the movie.
Yeah, it's great.
It makes so much sense that that's something he would say.
Yeah.
With that old-timey delivery and feel, and with the things like the Rejects characters, obviously living in as obscurity as possible because they're not going to be out and about just walking into grocery stores living their life, that they would be a little behind the times in certain ways of speaking and mannerisms that they would use.
Yeah.
I always felt that Willy Wonka line was like so well delivered.
Adios, safe travels.
That's such a gem.
Looking forward to it. Saying goodbye to Tyler Main, who I'm sure you've had the good fortune to interview. He is
not yet, but we will.
Oh,
he has said
he's on
we would love to do it.
He's on your.
He's on our radar.
Yeah,
okay.
We got him, and he's been super duper courteous because, of course, with Mrs. Vamp's love of Halloween, she had to get a Michael Myers on there.
I appreciate that.
Him coming back for the for the Wolverine character for Deadpool kind of solidified his lines to be a lot longer lately.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. So that's really super cool.
Absolutely. And Lou, as a final thing, let of course all of your fans know where you can be seen, but also if there's anything that you're allowed to talk about for what you've got going on right now for future projects, we'd love to hear about it.
Well, I'm definitely excited about the opportunity to direct my first film. It's a coming of age story. It's called Being Butte, which is about Butte, Montana. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
And we start that next. We're just still we're not in September yet, right? So we start that in October. I should say that. So I'm excited, really excited. It's something that I wrote and I will direct. I might do a small part in it, but I'm really just focused on directing. You can find me, Lou Temple Actor. Very original, right? Lou Temple Actor is out there on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Wait, it's called
X now or something. Who knows?
Do we use it still?
Yeah. Depending on what side of the fence you're on.
Okay.
Depending on your popularity and maybe the
politics,
content you put on or your politics,
Okay. I got you. Yeah. I got you. Well, then you can.
Seems like Facebook and Instagram are still kind of the way.
The game. Till the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever that's going to be. Well, yeah, thanks for having me. This was great.
Absolute pleasure, Lou. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Infernos. We love you guys. Thank you always again for supporting not only the talent that we get to interview, but the show as well to allows us to bring that to you guys. You guys take care. We will see you again real soon. Of course, I'm Vampire. He's the devil, but most importantly, he is Lou Temple. We'll see you guys real soon. Horns up. Fangs out.